Life is a game. This thing that we're in, it's all about play. A lot of people take this very seriously. They look at life and they think life and death. They think everything is super important. If I don't do this, I'm gonna die. If I don't do that, I'm gonna die. And they think, only if I worry about all this stuff and I make sure that everything's safe, am I gonna live? When in this game, it ends and you will die. You have to start from the perspective of that you're not gonna be here forever. You're for a good time, not for a long time, at least in this life, right? So that all being said, you have to start, if you want to have success or a good life, looking at everything in almost a non-serious way. Why? Well, let's look at the bigger root of the situation. Why did God create this universe? Why are we here? Well, do you think that God created this universe for himself for pain and suffering? Or did he make it for pleasure? What was it for? Well, I would say it was for something that was for his benefit. And same for you. You're an extension of God. And here's what's funny is this whole taking things serious and wanting to hold on and play it safe and make everything super hard. That's trying to hold on and live forever in a way where you're not playing the game. That's trying to play it safe and not be a part of anything because you think that there's no way to win and you think that we're just here to make it by. That's not it. We're here to actually achieve things, to create and find truth. That's a part of what our mission is. That's what we're here for. And that's the game that God is playing, is discovering himself. So here's the thing. Have you ever noticed when you take things super seriously and you start looking at everything as if I don't do this, it's a problem, or if I do that, it could lead to this problem? That's because deep down you're afraid of dying, right? So here's the thing that I like to do. I like to approach this all as if I am a character in a game. I create an identity for myself internally of a positive character, not a victim, not a loser, not a person who will not succeed, but as someone who is on a divine mission or someone who is a winner. You want to figure out who this character is that you align with, and then create a narrative in your mind as to what that character is going to do and how they're going to succeed within the story of what reality is. And you can kind of shift that around and figure it out for yourself. Now, here's what's important. You need to have a constant self-talk of an identity of who you are in this game. You could be any character. You could be someone who is a conqueror, someone who is a thinker, a scientist. You could be a builder, whatever it is. And you want to play out that role to being the winner of that role, the person who takes it on and succeeds at the mission of that thing, right? Now, you want this in alignment with the bigger mission, which is truth. But if you, let's say, are put into this idea of a character who is a victim or who is someone who is a loser or incapable or someone who's just a small person in someone else's world, right? A lot of people say some people have a main character syndrome. You actually should kind of have a main character syndrome because you'll take responsibility and you'll actually take action. If you're this victim, you're going to be someone who's always affected. You're going to be someone who's always, things are happening to me I am not the one causing things to happen. This is very key. So in this game, you'll notice there are these people who seem to always be losing. They have a loser effect. This is because of the past dictating the future. Now, let me explain this. If you have someone who is a child, right, and you have them interact with you day-to-day life, you may have noticed we don't say things that are traumatizing in front of children, right? We don't talk about very negative things that are way beyond their scope. Why? Have you ever thought why? Well, the reason is really simple. They can't cope with it. Why? Well, when you're young, you have a limited image or kind of paradigm of what reality is. You have a small sample of information to try and make sense of the world. And you're trying to accomplish things. You have few tools to do what you're doing. But when someone comes in and they relay to you a past experience as a child, something deeply disturbing and negative, maybe it's some form of death or a crime or something bad that happened, that child who has a small pool of past information is now dumped with a massive problem. They're saying, wait, the world is not safe. The world is crazy. The world is bad. And, there's this problem where they say, I have no solutions to those things. I don't know why they're happening. I don't know what I'm going to do. They immediately become the identity of a victim because they have no power. So that's why we keep those things away from children and we allow them to develop in the place they're at. If they aren't in a safe environment where they can gradually grow and become more capable of handling things in the world, they'll never develop that winner identity, right? This is a game. If they get put into that state of being traumatized, they're going to self-sabotage themselves throughout their whole life because they're going to continually question, if I take this action, it could lead into this result where I had learned about a traumatic event in the past. It'll throw me and I'll fail. I'll lose. I'll die. The game will be over. But if you start with a child and you give them lots of positive reinforcement when they're young, and you give them a safe environment, and you let them have success after success after success, and they get put into this winner state, then they end up seeing possibility in the world, a bright future, so many things they could do and accomplish and succeed and have a happy life. You may be one of these two different children that grew up and be in one of these states. And if you're in the traumatized state, a victim state, your life's going to be very hard. And this is why this is so important, this topic we're talking about. You have to identify with this not all being so serious, life or death, but there are solutions. This is a game. Take it in a non-serious way where you don't lock up and freeze. If you're able to identify with being a winner and having this good character of whoever, or a conqueror, or a builder, or someone who succeeds, a winner, you won't sabotage yourself when taking on different things. You won't try to protect yourself all the time by throwing obstacles in your own way so that you don't go out and attempt things, because you might put yourself out into the open where people could attack you or things could attack you. You feel sick, you feel unsafe. You need to feel safe at all times. You have to realize that this is just all a big experience of play, right? When you die, it's not your end. You're just here building out creation and trying to assist in God's mission in your little part, right? So when you look at life as a game, you don't make it so complicated. You say, I have a goal, I'm going to accomplish it, and you'll just go directly to the path that gets you there the most expedient way. Oftentimes, people call these success barriers. Oftentimes, people have a hard time being successful or prosperous because, let's say you want to, be rich, right? They will start out on that path, and you notice they'll make steps to doing something, and they'll start sabotaging themselves by all of a sudden finding themselves on social media doom scrolling, going and hanging out with people who are going to distract them and give them bad habits, just being procrastinators, or taking a route to the thing that they want in the most convoluted, zigzaggy pattern. A lot of it is because they're afraid of what will happen when they actually try, that they're exposing themselves to risk. That's not the point. Where all of life is a risk. You just have to go along with it. It's not about, think of it this way. It's better to play and lose than never play at all. The point is, you're playing. What if every time you went to a friend's house and you went to play a game and everyone sat down in a group and they said, okay, we're going to play this game. And you said, no, I can't play the game because I might lose. Everyone would look at you like you're crazy. It's like, we're not here. It doesn't matter if one person wins and one person loses. We're here to have fun. This is the game. Give it your best shot and we'll all enjoy it together. Sadly, that's how most people are living. And it's really what's holding us all back, is being in that position. So you'll notice, here's some keys, when you are playing the game of life, if you're in this victim state, you'll notice throughout the day, you're all throughout the day going to be thinking the what ifs of things could go bad constantly. It'll be just running in the background. You'll be thinking, well, if I do this, then this negative thing will happen. Or if I do that, then it's going to set me up to where this other bad thing could happen. And I may not succeed and I'll fail and all this other. You have to get rid of that. You have to stop having that sabotaging self-talk. You have to notice it every day and you have to replace it. Say, no, I don't care about that. That's not what's going to happen. We're here to give it a go and we are going to succeed. Why? Because we're going to do the things that make us succeed. This is you talking to yourself. You have to tell it, shut up. I am in charge. We're going to win. We're going to go one more step, one more mile, and we're going to get there. And the whole time saying, that's not who I am. I am not a doubter. I am not a fearful person. I'm not a coward. I am a winner. This is when the game goes a lot easier. So it's that spirit of fear. You have to keep it out. A lot of religions talk about that. Don't be a spirit of fear. Don't associate with hell in your mind. All right. Well, that's it for today. Thanks, guys.